Welcome to Still Mind Suttas. Whether you're here for the first time or returning, I'm glad you've taken a moment to slow down and listen. In today's episode, we'll explore a teaching where the Buddha gently redirects a monk who becomes caught in unanswered questions about the cosmos and the afterlife. It's a reminder many of us need, how easily the mind gets pulled toward speculation instead of what truly helps us find peace. This sutta invites us back to what's practical and liberating right now in the middle of daily life, relationships, and stress. Let's settle in and enter this story with a quiet, open mind. In this discourse, the Buddha is staying near Savath, in the quiet refuge of Jedda's Grove, a monastery established by the generous lay follower Anathapindika. The setting is peaceful, shaded by ancient trees, a place where many monks come to practice in seclusion. Among them is Venerable Māluṅkyaputta. One day, while he sits alone, a restless train of thought begins to take shape in his mind. He wonders about the great speculative questions that the Buddha has refused to answer, questions about the nature of the cosmos, the relationship between body and soul, and what happens to a Tathagata, a fully awakened one, after death. Why has the Buddha not declared whether the universe is eternal or not? Why has he not explained whether the soul and the body are the same or entirely different? Why has he not said whether a Tathagata exists after death, does not exist, both or neither? Māluṅkyaputta becomes dissatisfied. He decides that unless the Buddha answers these questions, he will give up the training and return to the ordinary life. If the Buddha answers them to his satisfaction, he will stay. This becomes his resolve. When evening comes, he leaves his solitude and approaches the Buddha. After bowing respectfully, he sits to one side and repeats all the thoughts that troubled him. He explains the terms he is setting. If the Buddha answers these speculative questions, he will continue the holy life. If the Buddha does not, he will walk away from the practice. He even tells the Buddha that if a teacher truly does not know the answer to such cosmic matters, the honest thing is to say, "I do not know, I do not see." The Buddha listens calmly, then asks him a simple question. "Māluṅkyaputta, did I ever say to you, 'Live the holy life under me, and I will reveal whether the cosmos is eternal or not eternal, whether the soul is the same as the body or different, or what happens to a Tathagata after death?" Māluṅkyaputta admits, "No, Lord." The Buddha continues, "And did you ever say to me, 'I will live the holy life under the Blessed One on condition that he answers these questions for me?'" Again, Māluṅkyaputta replies, "No, Lord." With this established, the Buddha speaks plainly. Since no such agreement was ever made, what grounds does Māluṅkyaputta have to demand answers or hold grievances? Then the Buddha offers an analogy, one of the most famous in the suttas. He says it is like a man wounded by a poisoned arrow. His friends bring a surgeon to save him, but the man refuses treatment until he learns everything about the arrow: who shot it, what caste the shooter belonged to, his height, his skin color, his home village, the type of bow, the kind of bowstring, the nature of the arrow shaft, the feathers used, and exactly what kind of arrowhead struck him. The Buddha explains that such a man would die long before he ever learned these things. In the same way, he says, a person who insists on answers to speculative questions before practicing the path will die without receiving them. These questions will remain unanswered, and the opportunity for liberation will be lost. The Buddha then explains why he does not answer such questions. They do not lead to the goal. They do not help someone live the holy life. Whether one believes the cosmos is eternal or not, or whether a Tathagata exists after death or not, birth still occurs, aging still occurs, death still occurs, sorrow, lamentation, pain, despair, and distress still arise. These speculative views do not bring an end to suffering. They do not lead to disenchantment, dispassion, or awakening. Therefore, the Buddha sets them aside. What he does teach, he says, are the things that truly matter, the Four Noble Truths. First, that there is dukkha, stress, suffering, the unsatisfactory nature of conditioned experience. Second, that this stress has an origin, a cause rooted in craving. Third, that stress can cease when craving is abandoned. And fourth, that there is a path of practice, the Noble Eightfold Path, that leads to this cessation. These teachings lead directly to the end of suffering. They support the holy life. They guide the mind toward calm, knowledge, and release. This is why they are taught openly and repeatedly. The Buddha tells Māluṅkyaputta to remember clearly what he discloses and what he does not. What is not disclosed are the speculative theories that do not support liberation. What is disclosed are the truths that point directly to freedom. Hearing this, Māluṅkyaputta is satisfied. His agitation dissolves, replaced with clarity. He understands that the Buddha's silence on certain questions is not neglect or secrecy, but compassion. It is the restraint of a teacher who refuses to distract his students from what truly matters. The discourse ends with Māluṅkyaputta delighted in the Buddha's words. As we reflect on this teaching, the central message becomes clear. In our own lives, the mind often longs for certainty, answers to abstract, cosmic questions about why things are the way they are, or what lies beyond the limits of our experience. The Buddha's guidance here reminds us to notice when our energy is being pulled into speculation, especially when those thoughts do not help us understand our own suffering or how to be free from it. Instead of searching for ultimate descriptions of the universe, the Buddha invites us to look directly at the arrow already piercing us, the stress and dissatisfaction we feel in this very moment. How does craving show up in our experience? How does it shape our choices, our moods, our reactions? And what happens when we let go, even for a moment? Practicing in this way brings the teaching into our everyday life. Whenever we find ourselves tangled in unanswerable questions, we can gently return to what is practical and immediate, noticing stress, seeing its cause, sensing the possibility of ease, and following the path that leads there. This is the heart of the Buddha's instruction to Māluṅkyaputta, a reminder to turn our attention toward what frees the mind. This discourse leaves us with a simple, steadying insight. We don't need every cosmic answer to begin living with clarity. What matters most is seeing our own stress, understanding its causes, and gently walking the path that lessens it. As you move through your day, you might notice when the mind drifts into figuring out things that don't actually free the heart. Each time you catch that, you have an opportunity to return to what's real and immediate, your breath, your body, your intentions, and the next kind step you can take. If these reflections resonate with you, feel free to subscribe or revisit the channel whenever you'd like more calm, story-based teachings from the early texts. Thank you for listening, and may this practice help you meet the day with steadiness and ease.